I'm just realizing, listening to everybody, that there was a part of me that heard this question last week through the intellect and decided right away that self-confidence is a worldly issue, and in spirit, I just am, and just kind of just sat with that and didn't really speculate too much until like what really happened this week is that I watched exactly, I'm repeating what I said at the top of this service, but I watched the world dictate that inner peace, that self-confidence about myself.
Yeah.
And so I guess without even really thinking about it too much, I really saw myself in action. And you just said something about, haven't you ever looked at your whole life and wondering why things aren't working? Yes, and I would even say as an adult, as it maybe applies to self-confidence, I can see, and I've been able to see for many years, like there's a part of me that is still really immature, like a 13-year-old as it applies to self-confidence.
Yeah.
And it's not even like me walking in a room or me holding a conversation. It's what I said just a moment ago about the world dictating, like if I have X, Y, Z, or if my bank account looks like this, or,
Yeah.
it's really immature. You know what I mean? Well, it's a lot of different things, but I guess as it pertains to self-confidence, like that's like I'm a grown woman. Do you know what I'm saying? Like letting the world dictate to me, well, you have this job today, so you should feel this way, and now you don't have this job today, you should feel this way. Like, so, I don't know. I mean, I guess when I heard self-confidence, I thought, I guess it was like my ego, and I don't know. I guess I'm getting mixed up in this whole conversation, and I would even dare to say the devil doesn't want me to see this. Like I'm feeling confused.
He doesn't want you.
Yeah.
The last thing Satan wants, evil spirit wants, is for you to see who he really is. That is not you. It's never been you. And he works overtime and he brings a little demon to make sure you never get past this point. He wants your soul. He's not playing around. He's evil, and he doesn't want you to sit still, as the anchorman was saying earlier. Sit still and be alone. He doesn't want you to be in a room by yourself. He wants something or himself to distract you, because if you ever see that it's not you, and you will if you stay with it, he got to leave. And it's interesting to live a life with no thoughts at all. It's like, and you still do your little practical things, but it's interesting to be able to live with no thoughts. If people understood that all thoughts are wicked and you must die from them to be free, and so when you do look at the news and all this mess going on, and economy bad, and the experts telling you we're not going to be able to use dollar bills after a while, and a war is coming. When you look at that stuff, you're just looking at crazy, insane people, and you're not moved by it at all. So you don't feel like you got to go dig a hole right away and hide your money, or your world is coming to an end. You don't feel in it. It's like looking at a bad movie. It's interesting to live, and I know what it's like to live in this world and look at the media and see what's going on around you. You just feel like you better run and do something too. And Satan would tell you, oh, you better stock up on food. You better buy gold. You better do this and do that. And then you rush out and do it, and the world doesn't come to an end. You're still alive.
Yeah, I can see that. I was talking to my sister this week about this. And I think, I've lived that way. I just look like a fool in the end. Some of the errands that I've run.
I know people who stocked up on food because somebody said the world coming to an end. And they went out and bought a whole bunch of stuff, and it rotted.
Right. No, I just, I can see all this, and inside the conversation, and I think that's why this these conversations, this fellowship is so important, to be having this spiritual conversation about truth, because, you know, when I'm on the phone with my sister and we're discussing anything from the news to what's going on inside, like, it really does become clear that there really isn't anything to be worried about, and it is all outside of me, and this is the most important thing there is, period. It's staying engaged not only with God, but with other people that are really seeking truth to, you know, because inside of a conversation with my sister, either one of us can go right or left, and the other person will come back with, you know, with the truth of it all.
Right.
Because of that, and I even said to you, like, I can see the world going to hell. I mean, I think I've been able to see that for most of my life without really being able to pinpoint it, but I really, really see it. And the other night I had an experience just being out in the world at a store, through a drive-through, and watching, like, just really seeing the reality of what, like, it is so beyond my control of what's happening. Even,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And really grasping this, like, my spirit with God, the truth, that's all there is, and that's all that is, like, if there, and you say it all the time, if we ever needed you, Lord, we need you now. Like, you know what I mean? Really.
Yeah.
Because to put my faith in the world is, I mean, I might as well just light myself on fire.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. This whole thing is really interesting because I love these biblical questions, and it's so interesting to see how my mind wants to receive it, or the enemy will come up and, like, use my intellect, decipher it real quick.
Yeah.
You know, but the reality is I'm out in the world. I'm not of the world, but I'm participating in it. And really what happened is I saw this biblical question in action and didn't realize, like, that was the biblical question until now. And then I come here, and then the enemy's like, well, you're confused, you're stupid, you don't get it, you haven't done anything with your, you know, it just, I don't know if this is making any
It's
sense,
amazing
but it's
to see when you can see the devil in yourself. You will see him in others, and you will see that they cannot help it. They are possessed with evil spirits and don't know it. And these evil spirits drive you nuts. It's crazy how they have you just doing crazy things and thinking crazy things. And you can see it, and in seeing it, you can never ever judge your fellow man, because you literally see that they are driven by spirits, just as we all have to be born again of the Spirit of God. In that fallen state, we're living an abnormal life because we've been driven by spirits, and they are in the mind, and they are in the emotions. And I can't tell you the number of people I counsel with now and have counseled with, and they don't see that they have spirits in them. Because we've been taught that spirits are something else, I guess. I think we expect something else to be spirits. And we never, as individuals, know that we are possessed. It's not about depression. It's not about anxiety. It's not about all that. It's pure, wicked spirits in us. And it talks to us, and it makes us feel a certain way. I was riding down the road yesterday, and I just ride, and all of a sudden a thought came, an idea came. And when that idea came, I had a feeling, it brought on a feeling. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. It just came out of nowhere. And I had this feeling out of nowhere. And I realized that all ideas or identities, have you ever noticed that whenever you get an idea, you get an identity from it? You either feel good about it or you feel bad about it. You get an identity from it. And I thought, wow, all thoughts are identities. And if you really look at your life, all of your thoughts are just identities that the devil are giving you, and you're thinking that they're yours, and you identify with it. Even if it's fear or not fear, you still identify with it, and to identify with it is a false identity. But if you just let it pass through you, it would be nothing. It would be just the wind coming and going. It would be nothing. It's only when you hold on to it, you get that identity from it, and you think that's who you are. It's weird. I'm like, wow, that's deep. All identities It come from ideas. Idea mean identity. It gives you that. And watch that this week. Every time you get an idea, you're going to get a feeling from it. And if you're not seeing what's going on, you're going to take on that identity, and it's going to destroy you. It will. All ideas bring on identities. Isn't that crazy? I never thought about that as ideas before yesterday.